Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. Let me just get you guys into position. Before I start the video, I just want to say I apologize for the infrequent uploads. Sorry, let me just get my mood right in here. That's better. Yeah, just want to apologize for the infrequent upload schedule. I've got loads of things that I'm working on behind the scenes, and yeah, life stuff as well. Obviously, life takes over. You know how it is, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be uploading again frequently once I get this project that I'm working on out of the way. That's taking up a lot of my time right now. But yeah, then my plan is to upload 3 or 4 times a week, inshallah. That was the plan, but you know how it is, man. Life pops up. But I just wanted to do one quickly. Oh, by the way, my bros, I'm ill today, man. Sore throat, bad cold, all of that stuff. So forgive me if you hear me snuffling and all that kind of stuff in this video. I do apologize. But I wanted to just do a quick one because I've been wrestling with something a bit lately, and that's music. Obviously, I've done a video about my experiences with music industry, all that kind of stuff. I've done a video on that previously. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The link is in the description. But yeah, man, I wanted to just do like a video basically for anyone out there who's struggling. Now, obviously, like I've said to you guys before, I am a creative person. I have many years of music production, songwriting, DJing. I have many years of experience in this. So I started to listen to music from the age of 7 years old, and I'm 35 now, and it's never ever been out of my life. Music has always been a very big part of my life. I told you guys before I was like into like production. Then I got into rap music at a young age, and I started, making music and this kind of stuff. But what I want to say is, like, obviously I've talked about my experiences, all the bad stuff that's happened from music that's led, different decisions in my life. But also I can't take away the good stuff that's happened from music. Not the good stuff that's happened, but the good times I've had with music. Just summer days and barbecues and being with your people and just putting on good songs and having dance offs with your bros and and all them good things. Like just good times, and like grime music coming out, and and when. For you guys in the US that don't know, like grime music, we used to have sets and get on the mic and if someone spat a lyric that was like amazing, the DJ would wheel up the tune, and like there's loads of good times we had from music, man. Like I can't disregard them times as well. But obviously, the very first thing is I am a Muslim man. I'm a God-fearing man. Back then, I wasn't. I've always been a God-fearing man and stuff for life. I've always been a God-fearing man, but I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand why music was not permissible. I didn't understand why it was considered haram. I never understood it, but obviously I do now. And lately, I've been wrestling with it, man. Like, obviously, like I said, I'm a creative person. Music production is a very big interest of mine. It always has been. So from time to time, like I won't sugarcoat it. From time to time, I'll get on my laptop and I'll open up Logic Pro X, and I'll have a little play about with like instruments and put things together. And like I said, I come from a music background, so I'll give you guys an example. I could wake up at 8 a.m. and by 8 p.m. that night I could have a whole album done. I could have 7 or 8 songs written out. I could have a massive list of tracks that are produced. I could have loads of instrumentals written. I could have a whole album done. And I used to do that back in the day. I used to have like, back then it was like mixtapes and stuff, and I'd have a whole body of work done within 5 hours. And like, so music has been a massive part of my life, but Islam is a big part of my life as well, and it's something that I wrestle with till today. So like, what I wanted to say in this video, like, obviously we do understand that music is haram, but I don't really understand. I'd never really understood, and even till now, there's a lot of sheikhs, there's a lot of imams, there's a lot of people in Islam that don't really explain it properly, why music is prohibited, why it's not considered something that we should be listening to much. I've read a lot of articles that say, like, if you're listening to music and it's like, they're not talking about filthy things, and they're not talking about like things that are gonna change your mind, like drugs, alcohol, zina, all this kind of stuff. If it's not talk about that, then it's okay. The thing is with that, like, and I understand it, like, and listen guys, I'm not an angel, but I understand it, like, and I'm just gonna give you guys my experience. So when I used to make music, I was like, I'm just gonna make music that's fun. I don't want to talk about stuff that's gonna impact anyone in a certain way, because I've always had Islam. My whole house, Quran was always playing. My mother, my grandmother were always, reading Quran. Always done namaz, all this kind of stuff. So I always had it in my house. But when I was in my bedroom, I was like, I'm gonna make fun music, fun hip hop, R&B music, and I don't want to like lead anyone astray. But the thing is, when you start getting deep, when you start getting into that, that's like a door opening sort of thing. So you start off, and you can use it with anything, but you start off like, it's all innocent. So I'm just gonna make music that like people can just enjoy, and then it leads on to like, oh, I'm getting a bit bored of this. What's next? And that's what happened to me. Like, just from my experiences, I used to like write lyrics about like just partying and just enjoying life or whatever, and then it got to more serious stuff. Like I talk about like, like stuff for like, but I talk about like a lot of like zina, like doing, and zina is like, sleeping with women and stuff like outside of marriage or whatever, and I talk about like alcohol, and then from there I talked about like violent things that I wanted to do to people, and obviously like I wasn't gonna go do them things because I'm not stupid, but I was talking about it, and if the wrong ears heard it, then they'll take me for it's literal, like, and a lot of people do. You see it in the music industry. A lot of people take these things as literal, when all these like drill rappers and stuff are talking about stabbings and and I caught a body and da da da. Like kids are listening to this stuff, man. Listen, you can see it. Like in London, especially, you can see all this stuff happening. So it's like a door open, and it's like I compare it to like drugs. Like you can start off with, because I know mainly loads of people that started off with, I'm just gonna smoke weed here and there. I'm gonna smoke weed, and that, and all that, only thing I'll ever do. As the years go on, weed just becomes a lot less effective, and they're like, oh, what's this? And then they take, white substances, and then it can lead to other things, and it's the same with like alcohol, for example. Like, say for example, you never drink, but you'll go to the club and you'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the club, but I'm not gonna drink any alcohol, I'm not gonna do anything like that, I'm just gonna go and enjoy it. All right, cool. So I'll go to the club and you'll sit with people that are drinking and stuff, and you won't get into it. Then as time goes on, imagine you go there every single week, 3 months goes past, and you're like, you know what, I'll just have one. I'm not going to drink too much, I'm going to have one. One turns into, all right, I'll just drink a bottle. A bottle turns into, all right, we're going out now to get lit. That's how it happens. And that's the same with music, man. It's like a door, it's like a gateway. So as much as you try and say that it's like, it's all innocent, and I'm not gonna let it affect me. It does affect you. Unfortunately, it will affect you. Like me, I don't listen. My daughter, my son, I don't play no rap music in front of them. I play. Yes, I do. I do play music in my house. I do play 90s R&B. I do play a lot of like like Asian Bollywood type music, that kind of stuff, but I try to put on the stuff that's as innocent as possible. I would never put on drill music in front of my kids. I would never put on music that's got stuff about killing, or girls that are rapping like naked and talking about how they want to do this and that. You see it. You see all the Cardi B's and the Lottos and and all these R&B songs with like Scissor and all these kind of people. Like, you can see what they're talking about in it. Sexy Red, all of these people. So like, what I do personally is I make sure that, like, if I'm going to listen to music, because I'm not perfect. I told you guys I'm not perfect. Music has been a big part of my life for many, many years. It's very, very hard for me. It's like probably the biggest thing that I find that I'm addicted to, that I can't just quit like that. I've tried it many, many times, and it's very hard for me. So what I do is, like, if I'm going to listen to rap music, because I'm older now, I know that it's not going to affect me the same as it would when I was 16 or 15 or whatever, when I was listening to it in my bedroom. So now I'll listen to, rap music in the gym just to get me going, get me pumped up. And 9 times out of 10, I turn it off anyway, man. After like I've heard 1 or 2 DMX tracks or whatever, I turn it off and I just crack on with because I know. Because because Islam is in my heart, I know it's not right, and I know it's going to affect my brain a certain way. I try not to listen to it too much, you know. And then when, like, if we're chilling or whatever, if it's a hot day, barbecue, whatever, then I'll put some 80s or 90s R&B, maybe some Luther, maybe some, you know, Marvin Gaye, or maybe listen to some old school like Aaliyah or whatever, like, but just stuff that isn't going to change my children's minds. I would never put on like I said, I would never put rap music on the TV where it's like all to do with drugs and killing and sex and violence, all this. I wouldn't do that because I just know that it's not right, you know. So yeah, man, that's just my take on it. Like, if you're struggling with like music and you're a Muslim, I'm probably gonna get drilled in the comments from, you know, people from the Islamic community, you know, that is going to say to me like, this isn't good advice or whatever. But I'm just a realist, man. Like, I understand that, like, if you've come from a background that's like music has been a big part of your life, it is very hard, you know. Inshallah, you know, I can just completely give it up completely, and that is the plan, and I don't want to listen to it. Like, most of the time when I'm at home, Quran's playing or whatever, when I'm working, I try my very best to just listen to Quran, or I'll put a podcast on, you know. And but I understand, like, I just say, like, if you're, you know, if you're a revert, if you're, you know, getting into Islam, if you're struggling with like music and all this kind of stuff, just take it one step at a time. Like, maybe instead of listening to it all day, you know, like me, you schedule your music. So maybe you might listen to a little bit in the gym. When you get at home, you listen to Quran, or, you know, maybe when you're driving your car, you'll listen to Quran, and then, I don't know, maybe you'll have a time in the day that you'll listen to a little bit of music, but you know that that's not right. And it is a gateway. It's a gateway to bad things, man. Like, so yeah, I struggle with it badly, man. I, like, obviously being a creative, being a producer, first of all, like a music producer is what I would consider myself. For everything to start with, is a producer. So coming from that background is very, very, very hard for me to just disregard it. And, you know, like I said, I sometimes open up Logic Pro on my computer and I have a little play of it, and then I turn it off and I try to listen to like nasheeds, or I try to just listen to Quran. But you can hear the constant battle with it. Like, it shouldn't be a battle. It should be like, all right, it should be like, I'm just going to turn off the music and that's it. But that should give you some sort of inkling. That should give you an inkling of like why it's not good. It's addictive. It's another form of addiction. Music is another form of addiction. And you know, like, people say like, oh, I don't know if it is haram and all this kind of stuff, but like, you can put on, like, would you want your kids listening to it? I saw something the other day about, was it Charleston White, and he was talking about like Drake talking about like girls on girls, and Future or someone was talking about putting a thumb in her butt and and, you know, like, he's like, would you let your daughter listen to that? I wouldn't let my daughter listen to that. You know, nine times out of 10, most of the stuff you hear these days is utter BS. Like, it's pure BS. I wouldn't let them listen to it. And I sometimes feel sorry for my younger self that I was exposed to this stuff at such a young age. But our parents didn't understand it. Our parents didn't know, you know, like, we've got a lot more, there's a lot more available, like, for us to learn and to understand about frequency and music and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, man, that's my little take on it. It's like, if you're struggling, if you're wrestling with like music and trying to get on a righteous path, whatever, maybe just take it one step at a time. You know, you can't just go cold turkey, because, you know, I watched something the other day, and one of the brothers were talking about, if you try and do something cold turkey, you're likely to revert back quite quickly as well. So it takes time, man. It takes time. And we know music is haram. It's a gateway. As much as you try and say that I'm just going to keep it halal and I'm just going to like listen to the good stuff, eventually you will listen to the bad stuff. You know, I have first-hand experience of, like, I remember I was making like R&B tracks. I was producing R&B tracks and I was writing for them as well. And then I remember I got bored of it after like 6-7 months of doing that. I got really bored of it. And I always remember this. I always remember, was it Tyler the Creator first come out, and he had a track called Yonkers, yeah, and he was talking about like a lot of satanic stuff in it, stuff for a lot. And I listened to that, and I kept listening to it, and I actually made a song where I was talking a lot of shaitan stuff, like a lot of devilish things in it, stuff for Allah, you know. And I was like, and that was me transitioning into that. Like, even you can see like we say in Islam, like, tattoos are haram or whatever, like, but because of the music, it was like, whatever, like, I'll just do it because all the rappers are doing it. Like, no, like, You know, so it changes you. It subliminally changes you without you knowing. You think it's all fine, but subliminally it is changing you, innit? So I don't know, man. I just think like, yeah, man, just take it easy, take it one step at a time. And yeah, man, I've been wrestling with it for years and years, and I just try my best now to I just try my best to just routine everything and just try and, you know, minimize it as much as possible, man. But yeah, that's my 2 cents into it, guys. Like I said, the upload frequencies are going to be very sporadic at the moment because I'm working on a project behind the scenes. Once that project's done, inshallah, in a few months, I can go full all in with, you know, the podcast and with YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Because, yo, I got a lot to say, man, and you guys give me some good feedback on my videos as well. So thank you for that. Thank you to everyone that subscribes and watches these videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.